If you are Good afternoon, everybody. And thank you, Martina, for setting the recordings for this meeting. I'm very pleased to be with you. I'm Giulia from CROZ, and I want to cover the topic of IBM Watsonix Orchestrate and to interact with you as much as possible, given the topic that we will present. Without further ado, I want to share my presentation and drill into the topic of agentic AI and agents. So let's start the scene with the definition of agentic, an AI agent. What is an agent? There are plenty of definitions out there. The one that I want to use for this webinar is a system that is autonomous and is capable of deciding, planning, and actually interact with tools and other agents to actually achieve a goal. If we take this definition, this is a major shift in what has been done until now with AI and AI models. So we have started with foundations models that can generate for you. And that's how we jumped into the generative AI era, where models were actually enabling for predicting new words one after the other and generate text, or let's say matching some patterns in the data in a very wide data set. Then we associated these models with assistants with whom we can interact and with whom actually we can chat. And that was the assistant era, where actually a chatbot was supporting us in some task by the LLM under the hood. Now we are moving into the next step of this phase. And this is the step where those models can do something for us, and we can delegate tasks to the agents. Why? Because they are somehow powered by the think, act, and observe loop, and they are flexible. They can reason upon this loop, they can reason upon the tools that they use, and then can generate the outcome. Let me quickly focus on this internal loop. And this is, I would say, the core of the transformation from the assistant, that it was, I would say, mainly one way. We give an input, and somehow the assistant was immediately returning the output. And the agents. The agents is inherently more complex in the workload that is doing. So we give it an input, and based on this input, the LLM, or the model that is behind, is not just an LLM. We are now having also multimodal model that can support agents. The model under the hood of this agent is able to somehow break down the complex task and the input that we have given, provide a plan and a reasoning upon this plan, connect with the relevant tool, and execute the task that are required for each step of the task and each type of tools. It will observe the outcome, and if the outcome is not consistent or not good enough, it will return back to the think step, and it will start again the process until we have reached a fair output and a fair results that could be somehow reproduced back to the human side. So it's inherently, as we can see, much more extended than the input outcome thread that we had with the assistants, with the chatbots that we have experienced so far. Of course, when we talk about agents and their autonomy that are inherently into this think, act, and observe loop, we have a spectrum. And it's not that all the agents that we see in the real world that are deployed or that are tested have the full autonomy in their looping. But enterprise and builders, developers, or data scientists that are supporting and developing these agents can choose within the autonomy spectrum either to position their assistant more, their agents more into the deterministic space, where it's every step is decided, there is a rule set, and it's almost non-agentic. And it's like processing task as it is to the agentic spectrum. And here with the agentic spectrum, we see that actually there are different steps of autonomy that can be given to these agents. We can have like an initial step where the agent can, for example, make sense and automatically map the data that are inherently in the system, or the agent can progress into this autonomy journey with some autonomy in their task, in the way that actually tasks are completed and accessed through tools, to the full agentic space, where actually the entire process is accomplished by the agents, and there is full autonomy in the tool definition and the thinking definition, and then the outcome that is provided to the user. So there is, I would say, a wide spectrum of autonomy in which these agents can actually play and provide their assistance. And with that said, and with this introduction, it's truly, I would say, a milestone that we are reaching for enterprise initiatives that to some extent will push forward the boundaries of digital transformation and connect with ROI definition, KPIs, use cases. And the way that I see this digital transformation is not just creating use cases tied to revenue, cost, risk, and outcomes, what we have done so far, but it includes some additional steps, which are building the control tower. All these assistants and these agents need to be coordinated, orchestrated. Somehow we need to put control in what these agents are doing, given their spectrum of autonomy. Plus, like, they're redesigning the crew. We humans, we are put, I would say, in a further position in understanding how we can work and coordinate, and to some extent also make us free from some task that can be given to agents. So the way that actually we are shaping these agentic AI initiatives will include these three elements: the use cases, the control tower, where we will orchestrate and control these different agents, and the redesign elements, our interactions with the agentic workflow that is included. With this introduction about agent and agentic AI, why should we care about Watson X Orchestrate, or why I'm so excited to talk about Watson X Orchestrate? In my view, Watson X Orchestrate positions itself as the enterprise platform for the agentic AI workflow. And it sets apart from existing competitors or existing offering because at least two core differentiating points. The first one is that its ability to unify the agent strategy. And the second one is like its flexible and hybrid, or let's say agnostic nature towards infrastructure. Let me quickly spend a couple of words about the first key point. Here, what I mean with agent collaboration framework. We all know that in enterprise environments, we will have, or we already have different agentic initiatives or different agents that will live in different environments. We might have an SAP Jules agent, or we might have an agent that has been created with an open source framework like CROZ AI. We have our assistants that support our workflow through Slack or Copilot. So these are all there in the enterprise. And it's not that actually we want to create something that is additional to this. What we want to have with Watson X Orchestrate is a way to enable agents to sit on one framework, to collaborate, to communicate, not to live in all these separate silos, and actually to control all these different specialized agents, some that can be created into this dedicated environment like SAP, with agents that are being external to IBM Cloud Platform, with agents that are created within IBM Cloud Platforms, or agents that instead live into your local enterprise environment. And Watsonx Orchestrate enables this interoperability and actually unification in the strategy thanks to standardization. It uses agent-to-agent protocol and MCP framework to integrate different connections, different tools, and let the agent talk to each other. It's a platform that enables also future expansions. We can build the agents already on the platform, or we can bring external agents into the platform. And it's built with security on top of it in terms of communication, accessing, role, governance. I will try to cover a couple of these points also later in the presentation. Another point that sets apart IBM Watsonx Orchestrate as a platform is its flexibility and its hybrid nature. Those agents that we create with Orchestrate and precisely Orchestrate can be deployed on IBM Cloud, but also on AWS or in local infrastructure. And this is a point that I would say for EMEA listener to this webinar is definitely an interesting point, because we hear more and more about the need of a sovereign framework where we can control and somehow keep our instances secure from, let's say, exposure to cloud, and that's a point that somehow sets apart from other offering in terms of platform environment. It's a platform, and as a platform, it's built on a different building blocks. Some building blocks are actually more tailored for those who are the end user of these agents, like could be customers or employees that somehow experience the work of the agent and can see what the agent is providing to them. They can find their agents through the agent catalog, and these agents are, I would say, quite diverse. We say that we have some pre-built IBM agents for some specific use cases like HR, like sales, procurement, IT. These are agents that are available out of the box and can be accessed on, let's say, straightforward. We have agents that can be created by third party. As I mentioned, CrewAI is one framework, and then we can import those agents into the platform. Agents that can be custom built by the users themselves, and agents that can come from business partners like us, like CROZ. And then there is the second part of these building blocks that relates more to the building and the managing. There are different frameworks for building those agents. One could be through the low-code agent builder, where actually agents can be built directly from the platform with a low-code, no-code approach. Or you have a pro-code approach, which is the ADK, a Python library that you can have on your laptop or on your computer, and you can customize the agent by coding it. And then all these building elements are stick together with the agents ops, somehow the monitorings and the guardrails that we need to keep in order to have under control what the agent has provided. So with this building block, how would the orchestration look like? We can imagine that actually these orchestrations of different building elements would fit together like the picture that we have here. So we have first an end user, and this end user would get access to the agents through different channels. Could be conventional interfaces like a Slack interface or Teams, or like an assistant. And then there would be different enterprise apps that they will connect to the agent orchestration, the first orchestrator. With this orchestrator, then will somehow connect or make use of supporting agents for the task. And in this case, as said, we might have different type of custom built agents or pre-built agents that are accessible through the platform. And these agents, in order to accomplish their task, will make use of certain tools. What kind of tools are available? It could be tools, for example, for web searching, or tools for setting up some knowledge search, or tools for retrieving some data, or tools for classifying some data, or tools for example, pushing a request on GitLab, or retrieve data from a Salesforce catalog. So there's, I would say, a very wide range of tools that these agents can take depending on the type of task. And as you can see, the architecture here and the orchestration can be from very simple to very complex. And it is based on this structure that actually, this looping system that is the underground structure of the agent. This think, observe, and then plan, and based on the observation, then give an outcome or start the loop again, given the set of tools and the other agents with whom they might collaborate. We have made the point earlier that agents can be designed through two ways. With watsonx Orchestrate, you can create agents with a no-code approach, which somehow is accessible to everyone, and it has the possibility to decide the type of agents. It's like React, this reasoning and acting agent, or like other types of agents. And already on the platform, this low-code, no-code approach will enable for creating tools that connect through MCP framework, or authenticating through different apps through APIs. And it's very easy to deploy already on the platform with a low-code approach. And on the platform, again, with no-code approach, it's already integrated with the credential management and the governance part, especially with the Langfuse connection for observability. But as said, Orchestrate doesn't target just the no-code version. It speaks also to the folks who are more versed into coding agents and want to dig deeper into their details. They want flexibility in creating their own tools and somehow framing their agents according to some specific parameters. And this is possible with the ADK. ADK is like it's like a Python library. It's available on the web. You can install on your computer. It allows local testing. You just need, to some extent, like if you are interested, like as a developer, you need like a developer edition. It will run with into containers. And it is exactly built for like those folks who want the flexibility of testing on their device, that actually need to integrate the agents into the CI/CD pipelines, and it connects directly to SaaS, so that actually the agent that you create with a pro code version can be then imported into the platform, and it can speak to the agent that are created with a no-code version, or third-party agents, or business partners agents. So it's quite an interesting point to have both no code and pro code version, because actually with this approach, Watsonix Orchestrate means to target to different personas and to leverage some advantages or somehow some sweet points for business users that want to start digging into the AI experience, subject matters that are very much ingrained into the business processes and want to automate part of that. And at the same time, enables also developers to build their tools and to make sure that actually what we're building in terms of enterprise architecture for agentic workflow is not a shallow technical depth that somehow we cannot address with a code review, for example. So it has, I would say, the possibility of merging both views. Business users and subject matters can have their own experience in building and using agents on the platforms. It enables, especially if we are talking about the pre-built use cases, these are, I would say, quick starters for those type of AI-prone, business-savvy personas that want to start develop on themselves and start testing how they can automatize part of their task. And then it can be complemented by the task of developers that actually are into the coding approach. And in my perspective, I would say these merge the two best sides of the two worlds, and we can have synergies between the no code and the pro code version. As we can see here in these slides, we can, for example, start the process with a no-code entry point where we have like the business users that know the process and know somehow the pain points of the use case that they want to address, that start exploring themselves what an agent can do, for example, with a pre-built agent. And then they can somehow have in parallel or as a support the technical folks that code on themselves, and they can contribute with more tailored tools that can be then given to the pre-built agents. And then we have, let's say, these synergies between these planned and developed by business users, by what has been planned and developed by technical people. And these two steps can move together into the evaluation side. So, for example, the business owners, or let's say more the business side, can provide test cases or test stories that actually could be challenged by the technical people in the way that actually can be pushed through the ADK or test in the ADK framework. And the evaluations will help those two sides, no code and low code, to improve the agent up to a point where actually it will reach the staging area where actually the test will pass, and then the agent can be pushed into deployment and live in a production environment. So merging these no code and pro code versions can produce, I would say, a robust agent from a business perspective that is also relying on a solid testing and coding base supported by the ADK folks. And as said, it can be quite complex in itself. And here I want maybe to give you a glimpse on a multi-agent architecture, because turning into, let's say, this multi-agent framework where agents can interact with each other for steps or some task will definitely improve our our way in which we can automate part of the business practices and processes. And so let's consider the case in which we have a customer success manager that is responsible for onboarding a new client, right? And this manager initiate the process and interact with Orchestrate through different channels. Here, it could be like a Slack channel, it could be a voice message, or it could be a chat message. And based on this message, please onboard the new client, there will be an orchestration of tasks and an orchestration of agents. The orchestrator agents will have some tools at their disposal, for example, to getting the case data from the relevant data sets where they rely, SAP, other Dun& Bradstreet, and then we'll process those data to give them to the different agents that are collaborating with the orchestrators. Each agent might have, for example, dedicated tools or dedicated knowledge at their disposal, and can be either sort of like out of the box predefined agent, or it could be a custom made based, for example, on the legal requirements that are necessary for that specific enterprise setting or that specific sales channel through which this customer has come through. And as you can see, it is possible to streamline the process with a crew of agents. Each crew of agents will have an orchestrator that will oversight the task of the different collaborators, and will have access to different type of views and type of data. And to give you a glimpse on what is meant with multi-agent architecture and the possibilities that watsonx Orchestrate enable with that, let me share you a video that
Hello
will
everyone.
highlight.
In this quick demo, I'm going to show you how you can use watsonx Orchestrate to coordinate multiple AI agents to handle a sales scenario from start to finish. We'll see how different agents, including external copilots, can work together to answer questions, pull data, and even draft emails, all in one flow. Alright, let's kick things off. I'll start by importing an external copilot agent as a collaborator. This agent is trained to draft offer emails for products in our company's portfolio, so we'll have it ready to help later on. Now I'm going to start a conversation with our main orchestrator agent. This one's called Ask Sales. This agent is going to be orchestrating all the other agents we'll use in this scenario, besides executing some tasks by itself. First, I'll ask about the new sales play. The agent pulls this information directly from the company's documentation. So here it comes back with some info about pre-approved discounts for existing customers. I'll expand the agent's reasoning here just to show you exactly where the answer is coming from. In this case, you can see it's using documentation provided as knowledge for the agent. Next, I'll ask for a list of my customers from Salesforce. Let's say I want to make an offer based on what I just learned about the new sales play. The agent retrieves the list for me, and if I expand the reasoning again, you'll see it's calling a tool named Get Salesforce Customers behind the scenes to pull this data straight from Salesforce. Now I want to find the contact info from the customer with the highest revenue. The agent understands that and knows which of the customers here has the highest revenue, so it calls another Salesforce tool. This one's called Get Customer Contacts, and it brings back the right contact details. Lauren Boyle, our SVP of Technology at this customer, is the best contact here, so I'll ask the agent to draft an offering email to her. This triggers the email generator agent. That's the Copilot agent I imported earlier. It writes a draft for me right here in the chat. And if I expand the reasoning again, you see how Ask Sales is orchestrating this. It's calling the collaborator agent and using tools like send message to Microsoft Copilot to talk to that external AI. This is a great example of how Orchestrate's technology-agnostic approach let us pull in AI agents from other platforms and orchestrate them seamlessly. I'll ask for a quick tweak. I want to add a name and position to the email signature. The agent makes that update for me right away. Okay, I like this email, but before I send it, I want to make sure the customer doesn't have any open support issues we should know about first. I'll ask Sales to check for any open tickets in ServiceNow. Behind the scenes, it's calling on another agent called ServiceNow agent to handle that. And here we go. It found an open ticket. Looks like the customer has a high urgency CRM system outage, so probably not the best time to send a sales offer. So I'll tell the agent to hold off on sending the email for now and ask who in the support team is assigned to this ticket so I can follow up directly. The agent checks, and here's the assignee's name. Finally, I'll expand the full reasoning here so you can see how it all works. You can see the ServiceNow agent in action and the tools it used, like get ServiceNow incidents by caller, to bring everything together. And that's it. A quick look at how you can orchestrate multiple AI agents, connect to different systems, and keep everything working together smoothly with watsonx Orchestrate.
So what
Hello,
is,
everyone. In this
sorry,
quick demo, I'm going to
just
show
want to move on. Yeah, so what I wanted to highlight from this demo is like the agent runtime. So you have seen how like these sales agents was accomplishing different tasks, some of them quite complex, how it was like retrieving the data. What is the heart that enables all these different elements to stick together? It's the agent runtime, and you can see in this picture it's here. It's like what contains all these different elements, like the agent orchestration, the agent state, where actually we can maintain context and memory across interaction. The agent runtime will also somehow encapsulate the gathering of the trace data for capturing the logs and the telemetry for the observability. It will take co-responsibility and let's say co-responsibility for calling the external apps, calling the external agents that are outside the agent runtime, and in case invoking the external LLM. Those external LLM can either live in watsonx AI, which is the sister product of watsonx Orchestrate, where you can import a very large number of open source models to interact with the agent and being under the hood, or you can through MCP have third-party providers, including Mistral, including OpenAI through MCP calls. So the agent runtime is really the heart that somehow has co-responsibilities in enabling the orchestration to take place. And to conclude this very fascinating journey towards agentic, let me maybe point a couple of things. Since we mentioned telemetry and logs, there are some risks and challenges that come with agentic AI. First, we said we have a lot of autonomy or some autonomy given to the agent, and we want somehow still to monitor and to govern these unsupervised agents, or let's say these agents that some perform tasks on our behalf. We want to reproduce what they've done. We want to track what they've done. Since they are supported by LLM, we want to prevent them to spill data, sensitive data outside, to be somehow subject to adversarial attack. And we want also to keep track of the speed and the latency of the workflow. And that's why in watsonx Orchestrate, agents, ops, and governance are a crucial building block of the enterprise platform. With evaluations for testing the prompts. This is available in one side of the platform, and where actually we can check what the results of this test prompting has been, and with monitoring of the different logs and traces that are part of the interactions between agents and humans. There is a specific section in watsonx Orchestrate where we can visualize the metrics that are associated with the runtime, and within the runtime, look, for example, at the time stamps for responses, for task execution, and so on. And now that we somehow are pros in the definition of what is an agent, what is watsonx Orchestrate as a platform, as an enterprise platform, and the different building blocks and strength, I want to quickly show with you like a live demo of an intelligent document processing. So let me share then another screen and the presentation. And now I want to share. You should see like now my Firefox page where I have the landing page of watsonx Orchestrate. Maybe if it's like the first time that you see Orchestrate from this hamburger menu, you see the different options, for example, for discovering the different, it has been not used for 45 minutes, so it needs to be relaunched again. Maybe just a couple of words. The environment that I'm using is a sandbox hosted by our business partner, TD SYNNEX. So if there is anyone from TD SYNNEX here in this webinar, thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity of building demos in your sandbox environment. It is highly appreciated. So we are back. That's the landing page of watsonx Orchestrate. With the hamburger menu, we see that actually on the chat, we have direct access to the agents that have been deployed. We can discover agents and tools. These tools and agents can be created directly from IBM as out of the box, or can be created by business partners. As you see, for example, here, like there is an out-of-the-box account management from Salesforce. They are usually flagged by the creator and the type of use cases that they would actually enhance. Or you have agents that can be created by business partners, and then can be somehow rented directly on the platform. And each agent has a set of tools. You can, of course, build your own agent, and the demo that I will show you is exactly an agent that, a tiny agent that I built for showing the capabilities of automating the document processing. In this case, the document processing that I want to automate is to automate the extraction of information from documents that are in German or can be also in other language into let's say English. Why this is case? I'm Italian, working in Germany for a Croatian company, my HR needs documents that I have accumulated during my working life in the different countries where I lived. And some of them might be not in German, or these information needs to be passed to the Croatian mother company. And therefore, an agent that can support and enable this type of automation would be welcome. Here we have the landing page of this agent. We have maybe a quick overview. This agent is supported by a Llama Vision Instruct model, which is a multimodal one. It will be deprecated. No worry, it doesn't affect the workload of this agent today. Just to know that actually models that are under the agents can change, and you have always to test if the new model will provide the same results. This agent is created with no-code tools, and first there is like a description what this agent is supposed to do, and this is like core information for the model, because the model will understand the role of this agent based on the description and the behavior that, for example, we are inputting to the agent. There is the way for somehow customizing the agent. It's like a cross document processing. We can give also some quick start prompts to facilitate, let's say, the quick start of our project. And as said, there are available different type of agents. One is the default. That's what I've used today. It's more tailored to the understanding of tools and knowledge. Then there is like the React type of agent that is more ingrained into the looping, and it's more suitable for complex tasks that require a lot of thinking. Then you can input some knowledge to the agent. So, for example, could be corporate knowledge on how the information should be retrieved or processed, and tool sets. These are like the tools that the agent can access and use during the workload. Here I created with no-code framework a document classifier and extractor, and just to show you, you can build really. That's, I would say, a fantastic opportunity for people who want to start experimenting, and from the experimentation then put in production, because with these approach, you can focus on what you want to achieve and visualize it. And so, for example, here you say that, as said, it's a number of tasks that should be done by this agent. First, there is like a file upload, and then there is like a first module that is a document classifier. And in this case, the document classifier for this demo will check whether the documents that I will upload or give to the agent is a banking payment or a pension insurance. And you can edit these classes. You can, for example, change the model that is under the hood of this agent, depending on, for example, on a multilingual task. Granite performed better than the Llama model, because documents in my case are in German. And after, let's say, this first step, it branches out. So if the document has been classified into the pension, it will be the information will be extracted with a pension insurance extractor with different fields. And if instead it's a banking payment, there will be other fields, and then there will be a dedicated message to the user that can be somehow customized depending on the fields that have been extracted. This is something that no-code people really can create very easily, because you can include these building blocks like by dragging these boxes into the main flow, creating branches, creating, let's say, iteration, or creating looping, for example. And you can also bring tools into this workflow that, for example, have been created by third parties, or they can be created by that are available in the platform themselves. This is for, let's say, how these tools can be customized, and you see, I mean, the flexibility that you have as a person that wants to start building. You can include also other agents, for example, with like this icon. And in this case, again, you can import agents that have been coded from the ADK, or you can import agents that instead are out of the box into the catalog, or created by yourself. And then what is important, and said, agents, you have to refine like the crew a bit, human and agent. You are inputting the instructions clearly, like you define the personas, you give the context, and you also enlighten the reasoning that you want to give to the agent. And if you want, since we say that we can give more or less autonomy depending on the use case, we can also start creating guidelines if we want somehow to put some tracks on our agent. In our case, it's a document extractor, so I selected that we can chat with the document. And then there are different channels to connect. Could be connection through Slack, SMS, or a homepage with like our assistant. So we say that it's like we are accustomed to like the assistant workflow. And for example, here we have the assistant, watsonx assistant on the right-hand side. And we can, for example, give a file and ask, for example, what is this document about, like we are used to do with our normal assistant. And the agent will use the model under the hood to understand the document, given the definition that we have given here, for example, the behavior and the reasoning. It's now uploading the model. I hope it won't take too much, because today the latency is a bit an issue. Okay, so it's reasoning, which is good. And yeah, there is a lot of detail that has been done. And this would be with the reasoning, for example, here we can retrieve like the information and where the information lives and the document. This is important for tracing and tracking. This is what we are used to, right? But we can do the same thing also with an automation workflow. And here we are using the tool that we have created. Here the agent has understood that we have these classification and extraction need, and is calling the tool. Now we want to upload the file, and based on the workflow that we have designed, we are asking to extract the information, the relevant fields that, for example, my HR Linda would need in order to process some information from this bank account. Let's see that maybe it's like a payment for my flight to Zagreb for the Christmas party that CROZ is celebrating in a couple of weeks. Looking forward to it. So now we are uploading the document, and the agent has understood what is somehow included in the document, And based on the fields that we have included into the workflow, it has extracted what is relevant in this case for the HR. We can, if we would have like the golden test, we could test it, for example, for adversarial attack. We can deploy with one click, and we can look at the analytics, at the logging, and what has somehow been processed by the runtime. And just to show you very, very quickly. So this is where we land. We see, for example, that there are no failed messages, but there is a lot of latency. I know this is like bad today. And if we click, for example, here, we will have all the details of what has been somehow done during the agent task, all the loggings, and for example, for invoking the agents and the chat model. So definitely the governance at your fingerprint. Now I'm stopping here because we are almost 1 minute before the closing of this webinar. I want to thank you a lot, and maybe let me just share my contact here in case we want to connect. And then Martina can launch a poll, because it's our plan is to continue this experience, continue exploring what is inside Watson X Orchestrate, what is, let's say, the advantages of having Orchestrate in your environment, and there are different possibilities. So today we just started scratching the surface, but it's like an iceberg, you know. We are just at the surface. There is a lot underneath. Okay, so what is up for 2026? I hope you see that. Yeah. So it seems that building agentic applications with line flow is of some interest of you. And then what is also interesting is passing the context and connecting to third-party agents. So then thank you for this input. This will be definitely taken as input material for the next sessions for 2026. Good. And with these, we are at the end of this session. If you have questions, just please still write them in the chat, or just contact us. Contact me. We would be definitely happy to follow up. And thank you very much for your attention and your time in being curious in what Orchestrate can bring to your productivity and your enterprise.